welcome back to another video. And if you've been following the channel for any amount of time, you know one of my biggest inspirations in the last few years, at least, for journaling, writing, just study and for the interior life. San Jose Maria Escriva, amazing saint from the 20th century, born in Spain. Yeah, just an amazing person, especially when we consider the saints. You know, I think especially about the Spanish Golden Era, Teresa of Avila, San Juan de la Cruz, Ignatius of Loyola. But San Jose Maria Escriva, I think he passed away in 1975, so just a bit over 50 years ago. The day I'm releasing this video is his feast day, so I wasn't planning on doing this, and then it all kind of came together. So in this video, we're going to dive into 5 different ideas from Camino, or the Way, that have changed my journaling, that have helped me keep a consistent journaling practice, and have really made it a fruitful practice that is both consistent and enjoyable. Getting this first quote here from the Way, these are all from the section on study, or to be a student. And it's this first quote: "There is no excuse for those who could be scholars and are not," or those who could have wisdom and are not. This was one of the first quotes when I read Camino, or the Way, that really stood out to me, because I didn't really have a chance to go to college. I was in a situation where I basically had to start working full time, just getting out of high school. I barely got through high school. And I remember it was about 10 years ago that I finally realized I was making enough money that I could just buy whatever books I wanted. My pace of earning money could keep up with buying a book, reading a book, buying the next book, and reading that book. And that was a magical moment in my life. Feels like it kind of came too late. I wish that moment would have came even 10 years before that, because then I probably could have gone to college and, but can't change these things. But what I see about this, what I see here in this sort of quote from the Way, is this accountability to continue to be a lifelong learner and not be held back by whatever, has transpired in our lives. Even to this moment, I think about in those early years of my adulthood, there's so much more I could have done to pursue learning. And I did do a lot. I did do some part-time school work, and I was constantly teaching myself when I was working in Silicon Valley. This quote for me sort of symbolizes or synthesizes this idea that I'm not just writing for the sake of writing. I am studying. I'm trying to become not just more wise, I guess in the English sense, that feels very narrow, but I do want to be a lifelong learner, and I do want to be someone who is, learning, whether it's new languages. I'm still working on my Latin here, or just learning about different saints, how they approach the world, how they approach challenges in their lives, whether it be in the past century or centuries prior. And I'm always asking the question, what good thing can I put in the world? And I think as I continue to grow and develop and study and treat my journaling practice as something that is supposed to not just only enrich me, but enrich those people around me, that has changed journaling for me from just simply an act of oh, I do this little thing every day, to this is something that is developing me and growing me. And I can see that now more than ever, 10 years on from starting this. Okay, the second quote here from Camino under estudido, or the study of life. "It is good to see you put such determination into your study, provided, of course, you put the same determination into acquiring interior life." I think I fell into this trap early on, especially being in the biohacking, always novel learning Silicon Valley world of just consuming information and what's the new trendy fashionable idea. Study can absolutely be a vanity, kind of like what I was talking about in this first quote. Our study, our learnings can be this vain thing that we do. And I know I've been guilty of that in my own life. But it was right around this time, 10 years ago, when I first started really getting into reading more, really getting into journaling more consistently, learning more, being this lifelong learner, that I came across St. Teresa of Avila's Interior Castle. For me, my writing practices become the most fruitful and peaceful and exposing and developing practices when I am focusing them on acquiring an internal life or developing my internal life. I will always recommend St. Teresa of Avila's Interior Castle. As many of you know, watching this channel, I've now written 2 devotionals of a sort, one on sort of some the beauty of the Latin in the Bible translated into English, so it's more accessible. And then a second book that just came out a few weeks ago on the Rosary, the enduring devotion, meditating on the Christian mysteries. It's really, I think, been just the last few years that I feel like I've found a rhythm for this interior life. And in that, I've been finding a lot of courage and peace. So I want all of you to have that as well. All right, number 3, don't forget that before teaching, one must act. Coepit, facere, et docere, which is what the Holy Scriptures say of Jesus. He began to do and teach. So this idea of action so that we can teach and learn. I keep coming back to this as well, because I feel like whenever I get stuck with my writing, whenever I get stuck journaling, or I feel like nothing's going on, a lot of times it has to do with the fact that I've just been like sitting in the house. I haven't gone anywhere. I haven't done anything. Haven't connected with anyone. If I compare that to a day like I had yesterday where I went to a low mass, ran into someone that I knew who's significantly older than me, listened to him talk about his grandkids, and then I was sharing a little bit about my kids. We as a family rode our bikes to the farmer's market and had a blast there, and like saw friends and just caught up with people. And all of a sudden, like I had all these stories. All of a sudden, like my brain was firing, and like all the different things that I had said, the questions people had asked me, the questions I had been asking other people, the conversations that had just come up, that had made my life so much richer. And it's that doing that can activate the learning, activate the study, activate the richness of your writing. Just never forget that. But I'm one of these people that constantly needs that reminder. That's why I've been writing this in my notebook. Take action and you'll be able to study and teach and do all these wonderful things. Now, number 4, this is a good one. Those who are engaged in business say that time is money, and that seems very small to me. For us who are engaged in the affairs of souls, time is glory. I once heard it said by someone who I knew who's very, very successful financially and just in life in general, that time is money is a lie that rich people tell poor people. Whereas for rich people, they will always trade their money for time, and that's how they always make more money. But poor people will always trade their time for money. And the only way to sort of break that cycle is to do it mentally first, to in your mind know that you are always going to trade money for time and prioritize your time over money, because time ultimately is glory. It's the glory of God. It's what's possible in your own life and the lives of others. For these souls, every soul that you encounter, including your own, every single day. This is definitely one of the hardest things for me, because I still have those like moments that the Israelites had in the desert where I'm like, I want to go back to Egypt. I want to be fed, and I just want to work on my bricks without straw, and almost feel comfortable in the oppression that I had. Obviously in Silicon Valley, it was very comfortable. It was this like tyranny of comfort where it was like I had all my meals met, but my soul had no breathing room. If I tried to sit down and write anything for 10 minutes, I would be interrupted and be like conscripted into some new task. And I many times became my own worst taskmaster, right? Like I became my own worst pharaoh. This little quote from Camino always makes me think about how I need to give time to my devotions, to my writing, and not just be trying to quantify my time in some worldly currency, some worldly economy, right? Like time is the glory of God. Time is for the glory of God. And with time, we should be, with time, like that's actually the greatest opportunity, the greatest invitation is to be able to do anything for the glory of God. So let that be your permission slip to coming back to writing in your notebook, writing in your journals. Okay, this last one was so good. I wrote it up front here. Add a supernatural motive to your ordinary work, and you will have sanctified it. I think I've mentioned this before. I guess one of the titles that San Jose Maria Escriva has been given is like the saint of the ordinary life or the ordinary work, right? Like he was very much about encouraging people, normal people who worked normal jobs and lived normal lives, people who are not nuns and monks and clergy, to have these sacred experiences, whether that's writing a legal brief or being a doctor diagnosing a patient. Nowadays, it may be something as simple as like using a computer or doing manual labor. All of that can be sanctified for the glory of God and can be infused with a supernatural motive. And I think it's so easy to go day to day without even thinking about this, without considering that something you do in your day can be sanctified. Everything you do in your day can be sanctified. and how that changes not only the work itself, but how you feel about that work. And that's a cumulative effect. Like doing this every single day will change how you feel about your own life. It will change how you impact other people's lives. I got convicted of this last year, maybe it was a couple years ago now, by someone who mentioned like, what prayer do you say every time before you make a video? And I realized I did not have like a consistent prayer routine. I wasn't offering up my work. I didn't have like this supernatural motive in a codified way. I think I had the intent, but I hadn't really done it in a way that I could truly say was like sanctifying my work. Now I will oscillate, especially like coming to the journal or making a video, writing my books, especially like those I have prayers for, whether it's the Saint Ignatius Suscipe prayer or the Suscipe, the surrender prayer by Saint Ignatius, asking for the intercession of San Jose Maria Escriva, Saint Joseph, San Junipero Serra, the other Spanish saints, Teresa of Avila, John of the Cross, Ignatius of Loyola, Isidro of Sevilla, absolutely, especially in our modern time. You know, sometimes I will just say the Magnificat. I always have the Magnificat in my notebooks on me at all times, so I can just sit there and sit with the words, take it really slow, even though I have it pretty much memorized now in English and Spanish and Latin. But having that little dedication and shifting the mindset, sanctifying the ordinary. This is the secret, I feel like, to never being bored and never being burnt out. The only times that I'm bored and burnt out is when I'm not practicing this. And I just know then now I have to get back on that. So those were 5 little maxims from The Way by San Jose Maria Escriva. You can go read The Way or Camino on escriva.org for free. I'll link it down in the description below. If you liked any of these types of like maxims and insights and encouragements, I would also encourage you to check out both of my books, Restored in the Rhythm, a little devotional that is focused on the Latin, the like original Latin canonized Bible, and some of just the beautiful lines that Jerome put in there, translated into English and sort of unpacked in a devotional style manner. Also, I have my latest book, The Enduring Devotion, which is all about the Christian mysteries. It can really enrich your rosary prayer. I know it's done mine. Inspired by St. Jose Maria Escriva's Holy Rosary book, again, also focused on the Christian mysteries. And if you have a favorite bit from The Way, Camino by San Jose Maria Escriva, leave it in the comments down below so we can reflect on it all together as well. With that, I just want to say thank you to everyone who has subscribed to this channel. If you haven't yet, please do so. It really does help me out. And be kind, both in life and in the comments below. Like this video to send good vibes across the internet. We'll do it again soon. Later.